And again, cut me off again. So, hi everybody, just said I would get on today, and the energy is really intensifying. But I thought, first of all, if we could just say a prayer for the Philippines, because they had a 6.8 earthquake. It's been really, just really devastating. So many lives lost, so many people injured, and things like that. So, I'll include that in the meditation tonight, that we send out prayers for the Philippines and all of the other places in the world where all of these things are happening. And yes, again, it's all part of everything coming to a close, which we know, but yeah, it's just really sad when it just seems like unnecessary lives are lost and destruction and devastation. But then on the other hand, it's also too about the breaking down of all of the old systems and structures and everything that no longer serves. So in the bigger picture, there's, there is a bigger picture for it. But yeah, just sending out prayers. I've got a couple of friends over there, so just if we could all send our energy to them, because they're very, very vulnerable. And yeah, so I thought I'd get on tonight because things are heating up and it's looking pretty close to things shutting down. To be honest, like the US government was shut down today, so, and with the big meeting with all the generals and stuff, there's a warship off the Gold Coast here, like just sitting out on Broad Beach, you can see it. So things are changing, things are lining up, and again, this is just getting back to that common sense, just be prepared. Wouldn't be going too far from home, maybe not going too far from, like where there's lots and lots of people at the moment either. Because things are just sort of like, things are being activated all over the place. And we knew that this was coming, Red October, and it's building up and building up. So I'd say in the next couple of weeks, within the next couple of weeks, if not the next few days, that there's going to be big announcements and things are going to start changing. So in saying that, I thought I would do talk about being a warrior or a worrier. So I've talked about this before, but it just seems to be really relevant at the moment because so many people are getting caught in the fear porn. And yes, I know it's really hard not to, because it's like there's that panic and all of this sort of stuff. But again, it's like the faith and fear that I was talking about the other night, so a worrier, you worry about money, and then your money problems. You ever notice that, when you're worried about money, all of a sudden everything amplifies, your money worries get bigger. More and more bills come in. If you worry about your health, you get sicker. If you worry about other people's health, they get sicker, because where we send our energy, where energy goes, energy flows, or where it goes, it flows. So, and worrying about the world events and all of that sort of stuff. So that's the worrier. And there's that, a lot of people obviously are feeling that way at the moment, which is understandable because there is so much uncertainty on the planet. However, you take the O out of the warrior, and you put an A in, you become the warrior. Okay, so the warrior steps aside and trusts that the universe will bring whatever it needs to pay that bill or to feed that family or to do whatever it is. The warrior trusts that, that person, instead of worrying about them being sick, see them being whole, see them being healed, see the highest outcome for the greatest good. Hi, Angela. And also too, the warrior trusts that there's a bigger plan. And if we're in fear, we're not trusting in God. That's what this is all about. If you're in fear, you're feeding the demons, you're feeding the monsters, because they're loosing that energy. They've got nothing left to hang on to, so they are loosing that energy. So the warrior trusts in the bigger plan. The warrior knows that everything's going to be okay. That everything is happening for the highest and greatest good, and even though it may not look like it, so the warrior can just step aside and get on with it and just trust and know that there's a bigger plan. So it's like fear and faith. Which one are we choosing? And, things are really heating up, and we knew that this was coming. We knew, like, we're in it now. We're in amongst it, and it's happening, and we've been planning for this for years. Like, we've been talking about it. We've been hearing about it. And, so many people, I've heard it before. Yes, we have all heard it before, but everything's had to be in divine timing. And that's also what the warrior trusts in, divine timing. The warrior, it's like, oh, I need it now. And sometimes when we don't manifest things, it's actually for our highest good. The universe is saying it's either not the right time or not the right choice. Whereas the warrior is It's in divine timing. Everything happens in its own perfect timing. So that's where we're sort of at the moment. We're walking on that. And again, it's like, be really vigilant with where you put your energy. Like, don't be feeding those petitions and stuff. Like, don't be giving your energy to it, because all you're doing is feeding their, they're just looshing that energy, because everyone's getting angry and they're getting upset and they're getting, you know, that's what they want, you know. And there comes a point where we have to just sort of surrender and trust and realize that we didn't come here. I know for me as a soul, and I know who I am as a soul, and I know what I'm here to do. I know what my mission is. I would not have come back to this planet at this time if it was all going to turn to shit again, because I've been there before. A lot of us have, you know, a lot of you know, a lot of people go, oh my God, she's, you know, whatever, you know, but it's like, we did not sign up for it all to turn to shit. We did not sign up for it all to be, you know, to be like totally enslaved and mind controlled and all that sort of thing, which we have been. We all have been to a degree, but not to the degree that they're talking about. So this is about stepping into that place of absolute faith and trust, and just absolute knowing that we're coming into a better time. And you know, like all of us that are on this that have been on this path as like truthers or light warriors or whatever it is that you want to call it, you know, we've all known that there's a better future ahead. And that's what we need to be focusing on now. That's what we need to be like thinking of in your mind. And but yeah, just don't listen, tune it out, you know, because it's like, it's not going to happen. You know, all of these things are going to push people right to the absolute edge. But think about, you know, like the COVID passports and all of that sort of stuff. It nearly got there, but it never quite did. So that's what this is all about. It's to wake people up, and we don't need to stand up physically and fight against it. We need to stand in our spiritual power and our higher self energy as the warriors of light, and we'll do a meditation for that, as the warriors of light, because as we evolve and grow, they can't survive in the energy of of our awakening. They cannot survive in it. So this is the end of the old world, and it's the beginning of the new world. So we're sort of at that in-between place. It's also, it's like we've all been through a massive transformation, and we have to let go of all of the old parts of who we were, who we thought we should be, how we thought we meant to be, and all that sort of stuff. And just allow our higher self to dismantle us, basically. You know, we've gone through a rebirth. And so what happens in that, it's like all of the fragments that have been shattered through lifetimes, you know, from broken heart and bringing in like all of the persecution, all of the stuff. So that has been done by design to keep us keep the high vibration people in a low vibration. Well, guess what? So many of us have stepped away from that fear. It's like, you're not fucking doing it anymore. We're not going to allow it anymore. No. And that is your greatest power. Like, you can do more with your energy, you know, and rather than being angry and upset, because that, again, that's feeding the beast. You step into your light and your power, and you like, no more. No more. You're stepping into your power. No more. And energetically, no, it's not happening. We will not allow it. So this is again about the warrior and the warrior. We've got to make that choice. And yes, and there's also to the other side of it where people say, we've got to stand up, we've got to fight and everything, you know. And yes, we do, but we don't need to do it in that way. We need to do it in a different way. We need to be living in the higher frequency to do it. So, you know, and I salute all the people that are standing up and that are fighting and everything like that, you know. But it's like, what you fight against, you're giving energy to. So that means that, you know, the more you fight against something, the more energy you're giving to it. So the law of attraction is going to manifest it. And the more people that are high vibration, that are feeding that energy, that's going to be your reality, you know. And that's you know, that's going to be the reality. And I know for me, I'm not going for another few hundred fucking lifetimes to get to where I am now. I'm choosing the higher vibration now. So that's what we're here to do. We must be thinking in the higher realms. Again, we've got to discipline our mind, you know, like it's like when those thoughts are coming in, that oh my God, I'm so worried, I'm blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, acknowledge the thought. I'm so sorry you're still feeling worried. I'm so sorry you're still not trusting the process. However, I'm not available for this anymore. And this is the dark and the light, the dark thoughts and our heart consciousness. So if we're really stepping into the higher vibration as we say we are, we've actually got to be living in our heart, and we've got to be living from that energy. So yes, it is easier said than done, and people, some people aren't quite aware yet of how to do that. That will happen. But the more we can do it now, the more we can send light to everything that's going on, because light is a living consciousness. All of that light goes into the darkness, exposes it so it can be shattered, because we're not going to be shattered anymore. Like, we're just not going to be shattered. And also thinking about the beautiful world that we're coming into, and children are going to be safe. There's not going to be any disgusting low-life predators on this planet in any way, shape, or form anymore. If they are, they're going to be in a different dimension. They're going to be in the dimension with the ones that have stayed in the place of fear, But it's not going to be part of our reality. So our children, our grandchildren are going to grow up pure. There's not going to be the chemicals in the foods that have dumbed us down, and the poison in the waters, and the poison in the skies, and the poison in the earth, and all of that stuff. None of that exists in the higher realms, nor does any of this other 3D stuff. It doesn't exist in the higher realms. So, education systems, kids are going to be learning how to love themselves. They're going to be learning about body consciousness. They're going to be learning about higher consciousness. They're going to be like, God as in God within, finding that place of that divinity within. Farmers are going to farm, nurturers are going to nurture. Everybody's going to have their role, and everybody's going to be doing things joyfully. So that's, if you can focus on that now, rather than getting into that warrior mode, because that warrior mode keeps you stuck, keeps you in the past, because it's like, oh my God, this happened before. And so, well, we're creating a whole new reality. It's not going to happen again, and where we're coming to. It's going to be amazing. It's just, I just know it in my soul. I have absolutely no doubt, and I've always known this. And a lot of you here, listening, you've also known that you've got a purpose here, and maybe you don't quite know what it is yet, but it will unfold. So staying in the heart, trusting, stepping aside, expecting the highest outcome for the greatest good is the highest prayer that you can have, and expecting that. And just keeping that. I call on the highest outcome for the greatest good of all. So I will tune in, and I will see what Spirit's got, my higher self's got to say. It's really funny, actually. While I've been talking, I can feel like my energy's been rising. It's sort of almost like this amazing waves of energy coming through. So I hope everyone gets the benefit of that. All right, I'll tune in. Greetings, dear hearts. There is much confusion on this planet at this time. There is much chaos that is already occurring, and that will occur in a very magnified way in a very short period of time. Again, yes, you have been prepared for this, and you may not be prepared for the extent of it. However, know again that there is no thing to fear. There is no thing outside of you that has any more power than that which you give it. This is the time, dear hearts, to stay close to home, and staying close to home means staying close to your heart, staying close to your intuition, which is the teacher within, staying close to those goals and dreams and wishes that maybe had seemed to be so far away, those goals and dreams that you once had that seemed to be so elusive. Reassess those goals and dreams, dear hearts. If you could live your life in the most magnificent way, how would that be? What would you be doing? What would be your service? Where would you be going? What would be the experiences that you would be having if there were no limits upon your life? Financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and in all ways, what would you be doing? What would you be creating for yourself? What would be the legacy that you would be leaving behind for your future generations? For, dear hearts, we are coming into the most magnificent time of humanity's consciousness. And you will find that there will be many things that will happen in rapid succession. There will be the chaos, there will be the shutdowns, there will be the revelations, there will be the grief and the traumas and the uprisings, and then comes, dear hearts, the peace. And we are very close at this moment in time to that peace, even though things in the outer world are looking most chaotic, and they will become more so. We can assure you of that. However, again, dear hearts, remember that you are watching a movie. All of this is needing to play itself out, for this was the intention of the dark forces. All of these things that have been placed in front of you. Know, however, dear hearts, it is not just the earthly realms that are working for the highest good. It is the higher realms also. It is the higher selves of all of those that are here to bring about the change for humanity. It is the higher selves assisting all of those that are here on the front lines, all of those that are coming from the place of integrity to bring things into alignment. For things to come into alignment, things must be revealed. And again, when the extent of what has happened to the children is revealed, this is where humanity will come together and unite as one. And there will be no place anywhere on the planet, above, below, or beneath, that any of these predators can live anymore. They are starving for energy at this time. They are feeling suffocated, for their funds have been cut off. Their source of life force has been cut off. And with that, we know, you know of that which we are speaking. All of that has been stopped, dear hearts. So they are now counting on the loosh, the energy of your outrage, the energy of your indignation, the energy of all of that drama that is being created, for that is what they feed off. So, dear hearts, this is the time. Are you the worrier or the warrior? Do you have faith or fear? Are you feeding the darkness, which is the place of fear, or are you trusting in your higher purpose, in your higher self, in your divinity? For when you are doing that, dear hearts, you know that all is well. There is no thing to fear. And yes, things will appear to be very distressful, and many will not be able to cope with the information that is coming forward. However, again, this has been by design, and this has also been the choice of those that have not had the eyes to see. For apathy is the greatest curse of the planet, and that, dear hearts, will no longer be able to exist. For as we move into the higher frequencies of light, as we step more fully into our higher selves, all of those things around us dissolve, for they do not exist in the higher realms. So know, dear heart, that all is well. Brace yourselves for what is ahead, for it will be a time of turmoil. And we would say to you in this time to stay calm, to be the calm in the eye of the storm. Stay close to your home. Allow not that which is happening externally to be something you take internally. Again, observe, but do not absorb. So much tumultuous energy coming. This full moon will amplify many things. And yes, there will be the time where is the lockdown. There is the time where also this is a place of reassessment, a place where humanity is having a reset, not in the way that they would have wanted, for the dark forces had their own agenda on this. This is the reset into the highest frequencies of light. There will be many revelations this month. And also on the higher realms, you will find that your dreamscape is very vivid at this moment. You will find that you are having revelations from your higher self, from your intuition. That, dear hearts, is all you need to follow. That which is the intuition, the teacher within you, for that will always keep you safe. It will always keep you in a place of peace and always keep you in a place of trust. All things are unfolding in divine and perfect order, dear hearts. Be prepared, be safe, know that you are safe and that all is well. All is divine and perfect and divinely orchestrated, and you will be most ecstatically blessed at all of the magical events that will come on the other side of this. There will be no more struggle. There will be no more homelessness. There will be unity for all of humanity as the consciousness rises together to become one heart that is love. And that comes from the divinity of each one within you, having that seed of divinity that has now been sparked to a raging flame. Trust in yourselves, dear heart. Trust in your hearts. Know that you came here for this time, and that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, and all is well. So there we go. Hey, Linda. So, yep, buckle up, buttercups. It's going to get really rocky. It has to, though. You know, this is the old, like, I'm like, celebrate. It's like, yes, finally, you know, yeah, lock us down, bring it on. All of that stuff, bring it on, because once we've got through that and all of the effects on this side of it and that side of it, we're stepping into the most magnificent time to be alive. And you watch, like, this time next year, the whole world will be so completely different to what it is now. There's going to be so, like, new technologies. There's going to be new opportunities. It's just going to be so... We're in a totally different world. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So we've just got to get through this next little bumpy bit, and it will be very bumpy, more so for some than others. So stay calm, get yourself prepared, common sense, just make sure you've got enough water, you've got food, all that sort of stuff. It's just common sense. It's not fear. It's just common sense, because it's inevitable. And it's been said all along that what's going to happen now is the divine and perfect time. So anytime in the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I don't know, I feel like it's days away. Hi, Anna. So just be in your heart, have faith. Warrior or a warrior. The warrior, everything amplifies. The warrior, everything works out for the highest good of all. It's your choice. So sending you all so much love, and I will talk to you very, very soon.